Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, glad to have you here. Today we have the final battle in the SFO Tournament. And you can see it is Phillus' Chaos against the Dwarves. These Dwarves are led by Ashley, and he has taken a incredibly elite, very small Dwarven army. And you can see in the front these red and gold Skulder Guard and Nordgrimling's Iron Breakers, looking very dapper over here. But we'll start with the Chaos build. You can see some Chaos Marauders out on each flank, 2 Manticores up in the air to potentially deal with any Gyrocopters that Ashley might have brought, 2 Chaos Warriors, 1 Troll in the middle with a Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, again Cascading Fire Cloak and Flaming Sword of Ruin. Over here you can see Chaos Sorcerer of Metal with Plague of Rust and Transmutation of Lead. Again, of course, Kolek. He does have 2 of these Chaos Knights without lances to be a little bit better when stuck into melee. And you can see he does have a number of Forsaken around here. He's got 3. That's because even though they are primarily non-armor piercing damage, they do have 20. Look at that, 27 when buffed by the Metal Sorcerer. 27 armor piercing damage. Let's take a look at these guys. 22. Take a look at these guys. 34. So similar to the Chaos Warriors with great weapons, but definitely a lot faster. So, but their uncontrollable might become an issue. As for Ashley's army, you can see he has a huge Iron Breaker main line, and these guys are just incredible with 133 armor, discipline, so they won't rout when the leader routs. Immunity to psychology and just incredible leadership, almost unbreakable at 99. You can see that he does have 3 of them. He's got the Skulder Guard here with 125 armor. Look at that leadership, essentially unbreakable as well, and just great at tearing through all types of infantry because of that 20 bonus versus infantry in just like slaughters. So definitely a unit to watch out for. 2 Slayers in the back guarding Thorgrim Grudgebearer, who's going to be buffing up all these guys' attacks. And you can see a Master Engineer giving buffs as well. He does have, let's see, Banner of the Lost Holds, which will give plus 10% weapon damage and minus 8 melee attack from everybody around them, which will make these Nordgrimling's Iron Breakers, who have 68 melee defense, even harder to hit. Runesmith over here as well. Plus 8 melee attack, plus 4 leadership, plus 8 leadership. And then, of course, all the runes. And over here, he does have that plus 8 from the Great Book of Grudges. So, just a ton of stacked. Look at this. If we go take a look down here, plus 8, plus 10% weapon damage, plus 8 again. So, that's plus 16 melee attack, plus 4 leadership, and then plus another 8. So, essentially, at 122, they are unbreakable, and Forge Fire is buffing their already considerable damage. And the Nordgrimling's Iron Breakers actually do have armor-piercing damage. So just a terrifying unit. In the back, Grumbling Guard to support with that Vigor Aura. Some Equirant Miners who have a ton of blasting charges. And he does have some Peak Gate Guard Hammerers over here who do have that armor sundering and magic damage. And they are just as well a beast. So we'll get started here and see how this goes. Skulder Guard opening fire. And again, you know, with that huge, most of their damage is that bonus versus infantry, so they will not do very good against units like this. But they have a ton of ammo, so not really something to worry about. And you can see them trying to open fire on this Feral Manticore. But you can see, of course, not trying to focus on that, just trying to take any shots when he can. You can see these guys moving up to get in a nice position to fire. You can see, I guess, Chaos Knights coming in the forward, forcing Ashley to pull back. It's a pretty good move. You can see it looks like he's just going to try and blob through the middle here. Chaos Manticores up in the air, and you can see these guys taking some satchel charges, but they do not care, and doing almost no damage on the charge. Warhounds up the front as well. I figure this is because he saw that he didn't have any range units for him to even get at with those Warhounds, so probably just taking those blasting charges was the best way for them to be useful. You can see the Skulder Guard here lining up a couple of shots, doing some decent damage to those trolls. They don't have flaming attacks, so they won't be doing that extra. And you can see just starting to fight through the middle. Manticore coming in the back, I guess, to poison the Iron Breakers. Help support that main line. You can see these guys just completely surrounded already. I believe dropping the Flaming Sword of Ruin, buffing all these guys up. Scolder Guard trying to find a home. Oh man, just so many buffs going on. I cannot see a thing. Nice Lord of the Storm on these Ekron's Miners. And you can see these Warhounds getting in on these Slayers, while the Manticore comes in here and tries to shut down the Scolder Guard. Nice job getting these Marauders as well onto these Miners. They should win that fight, and you can see these Chaos Knights with Lances trying to find a home. But there's really nothing vulnerable, and you can see these Slayers coming in here after the Feral Manticore. So you can see here almost no damage has been taken by those Iron Breakers. Peak Gate Guard, still full health, Forsaken, and Marauders almost dead entirely. So it is not looking good here. Slayers, this side is getting hit by that Transmutation of Lead. And you can see Thorgrim up front, dueling with Kolek. And you can see, nice job using these Forsaken again, getting them into those Scolder Guard, making sure they don't fire. Plague of Rust even being dropped there. I like that, making these guys slightly better against them. But look at that. Those Ekron's Miners turning around, just wrecking those guys. Oh man, but just after these Scolder Guard, spending a lot of resources chasing these guys, and you have to because they can almost destroy a unit in like a volley. Over here you can see Kolek trying to swing this fight in their favor, but man, just everything taking so much damage. Rune of Wrath and Ruin coming down. These Trolls are really the only thing that's left in the middle. The Manticores are starting to take damage. Chaos Knights over here are finishing off these Scolder Guard, which is pretty good. And these Ekron Miners are starting to fall. But he just has a strong pocket. And look at these Norgremlins Iron Breakers. Still at 73 models. And look at these Slayers are now coming after Kolek with a vengeance. Chaos Marauders here. Chaos Warriors here trying to cut through them. But if you look, they have a melee attack of 37 versus the 68 melee defense of the Iron Breaker. So it is just such a low percentage chance to hit that it doesn't really, they just last so long. Norgremlings Iron Breakers up here in the front, taking on these Trolls. You can see Kolek coming after that Master Engineer. Great target for him, but he's going to get kind of swarmed here by this leadership. And that's just 3 different attacks. It's kind of hard to deal with. You can see these Chaos Knights with Lances coming down for a nice rear charge on these Iron Breakers. That's what you're going to need if you want to take these guys out. Repeated cycle charging. You can see these Grumbling Guard pulled back to kind of deal with these stragglers. Scolder Guard still, look at that. They are almost at no health. They're still steady. And they're fighting a giant flying Manticore. So you can see the Peak Gate Guard here. The leadership not touched. Kolek coming down. Rune of Oath is Steel, kind of countering that Plague of Rust. So that was a good timing there. You can see this Manticore is routing and just full health Iron Breaker, or Kolek. You can see these Scolder Guard are firing at Kolek, trying to take him off the field. But yeah, you can see here just this huge core of Dwarf Infantry is pulling through. Chaos Warriors chunking away. Satchels coming out. The Slayers are going to finish off this Manticore with its low, well, it's 70 armor, but they're going to be doing pretty well against it. Luckily, he still has these Chaos Knights, which could potentially cycle charge. But again, he's been cycle charging these Norgremlings Iron Breakers, and they're still confident. You can see, of course, look at this Iron Breaker fighting down to 5-man, and there's 5 of them left. They're fighting a hero and some warriors. And yeah, you can see here this core is just kind of coming around with these Peak Gate Guard, finishing off whatever Phillus has left. Nice job steadying these Iron Breakers for this charge. You can see them all run over, but they have just incredible mass, so they'll kind of stay in the fight. You can see they are losing, and that is kind of the showing the strength of these Chaos Knights. They do, looks like they do magic damage, so maybe not the best bring here. Let's take a look at the Dwarves' magic resistance. Yeah, so 25% magic resistance on these Iron Breakers. So 25% of that damage is not coming through. You can see these Forsaken Chaos Knights. Look at these Scolder Guard, steady, and there's 2 of them left, and they're next to Kolek. With that standard die, definitely, or I think that was Kolek. So yeah, still trying to find an angle with those guys as this hero blob kind of comes around. You can see balance of power definitely not in Phillus's favor, as this elite army huddles around all the buffs. Dwarves saving the world from the end times. So that's the first battle, and we'll get to see how Phillus kind of comes back, or how he might change his army. You can see Ironbreakers and Norgamlings doing a lot of work. Still a decent amount of health. Ekron's Miners definitely helping with those blasting charges. Essentially almost a ranged unit. Skoldeguard, great job from Phillus, forcing these guys to not be useful. They really didn't get a lot of kills, and that was because he was pretty insistent on shutting them down. So you can see here these Forsaken didn't actually do very well. The Chaos Marauders doing okay, and these Chaos Warriors doing okay, but just not able to cut through all of it. You can see these Trolls with 10 kills against the Norgamlings Ironbreakers. They were in that combat for like the entire game, and they got 10 kills on these guys. And you can see those Manticores, probably not the best pick, but definitely a good assurance against Gyrocopters. So we'll hop into this second battle. You can see here he's taken a lot more armor piercing. He's cut down on the calf. He's only got one Manticore, just to protect himself from like a very huge change on Ashley's part. You can see he still has his two sorcerers, Kolek. He's got 4 Forsaken this time, and in the middle he's got these aspiring champions who are going to be sundering the armor just to help these Forsaken do even more damage. You can see these same spells here. Only one unit of Chaos Knights, and he's got 2 Warhounds up front. So we'll see how this fares. You can see again, just one Ironbreaker moving up. Kind of a staggered formation here. Skoldeguard are going to line up. Potentially Kolek coming in to stop it. You can see him pulling these guys back, doing a great job, not just running blindly into these cannons, knowing their threat, coming in here, not letting him just take the shot he wants, but it looks like he's going to do a good job reforming here, potentially get 1 or 2 shots off, but no, the Manticore is going to come in here. Oh, but it doesn't matter, as these Forsaken take a decent amount of damage there from that first shot. And these guys are, again, just running from their lives from Kolek. Little dwarves, look at that guy. He didn't even die from that direct hit. They don't have too many models, though, so each model has a decently high health pool. You can see swarming that Manticore coming in here. Nice job. Look at this huge blob of dwarves dropping this Lord of the Storm. Just sending some dwarves flying. And nice rear charge with these Forsaken on these Ironbreakers. And look at this. This is what you have to do, kind of. It would have been good to potentially somehow get this engagement out here, separate this Dwarven force into 3 pockets so those buffs can't hit everything at once. But right now you can see it's hitting kind of this rightish side of their blob. And so you can see, of course, these guys running away. Got to get these Chaos Warriors in here. Oh man, these blasting charges just doing a number on the Forsaken. Would love to see these guys hop in there. Manticore still Manticore's going to come down after these guys. Not before they get a few, just grazing shots there. So great job shutting that down. Master Engineer in here to kind of support. Grumbling Guard are trying to save these guys. You can see the Norgamlings Ironbreakers. I would like to see these Warhounds kind of pop in the back and start focusing on these Slayers. Just because that's one of the few things on this map they can kill. You can see here Dragon Ogre coming around, trying to do what he can. Nice job dropping that Transmutation of Lead, protecting Kolek and these Chaos Knights. But you can see here, oh my god, look at this, just pure devastation. They finally got the ability to fire, and they took out this whole line here, routing those Chaos Warriors. Oh man, this is what they are made for, exploiting those holes. And again, that Manticore coming here, and you see Phillus immediately recognizes that threat. He's lost the Chaos Warrior, which is pretty crucial, and he's going to be bringing these guys in to try and stop it. But again, just pulling these guys out, and there's really nothing Phillus can do about it. Chaos Warriors are getting in here, Cascading Fire Cloak cast on them. Might give them a fighting chance. Oh, but man, look at those shots in here. Just devastating them. In the back, you can see it took down their health a lot. But again, that Manticore, great micromanagement on Phillus's part. But you can see, look, these Iron Breakers just holding the line almost everywhere. They've just, especially with the support of those Scolder Guard, they've won this left flank. Getting ready to come around. Lord of the Storm here is going to miss. It's going to hit a couple of these guys, which is not the worst thing in the world. But you can see this little blob is finishing up these Chaos Warriors, and these Scolder Guards still running around just like fat and squat. Look at them wobble. So we'll see where they decide to shoot. Oh, it looks like they're just being dragged back as Kolek is determined not to let them fire. Oh man, again, just targeting these blobs. Really, really just slaughtering these groups. And they are on guard mode, which is why they can kind of fire in combat, but they're not going to be firing when Kolek's in there. Oh man. Laying down to smacking. But you can see these Slayers hunting down these Chaos Knights. This Hero Blob is just kind of moving around, doing what it needs to do. You can see the balance bar very in the Dwarves' favor. As you can see, these units start to rout, especially with the Slayers on the field. Still got a ton of Peak Gate Guard. You can see them getting a nice rear charge, or side charge on these Forsaken. As Kolek comes in here, slams his hammer. Doesn't like knock down a single Iron Breaker. Killed a couple there. But you can see, nice job leaving the Chaos Sorcerer here to deal with these Scolder Guard. But man, this blob here in the middle has just crushed their way through, led by the elite Norgrimling's Iron Breakers. And you can see that dropping that entrenchment on them definitely makes them even more powerful. Buffs their armor piercing and gives them a physical resist. So another benefit of that Master Engineer. You can see these Scolder Guard here. And these Equerence Miners sitting here just blasting. Looks like they got one more volley. But yeah, Kolek and the rest is going to rout. And that is going to let Ashley here take the victory with the tournament with his elite Dwarven army build. And yeah, there it is. The powerful Scolder Guard. I'm glad you got to see them in action. And those Iron Breakers just holding the line. And Kolek running from the field. So congratulations to Ashley here. You can see the Iron Breakers doing a lot of the work. Peak Gate Guard helping a lot as well. Slayers doing what they need to do, especially against the Manticore and chasing Kolek around, chasing those Knights around, not letting them get the cycle charging they need. Yeah, you can see here just really with the small elite Dwarven build, not a lot of kills to go around. And the few that are, kind of on some Forsaken, I guess, potentially on the Miners and the Slayers. But yeah, you can see just these Chaos Warriors not getting a lot of kills here. Aspiring Champions were definitely an interesting pick. They do synergize pretty well with the Forsaken, but I think just the defense stats of these Iron Breakers are just super powerful. So you do need some elite infantry to kind of cut through these guys to match that. But who knows if that would have won the day instead. Anyways, that is the final battle for the SFO Tournament set. I might bring you some of the other ones if I do get them, but that might also be the end. And hopefully I'll be covering more of these tournaments in the future. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and that's that.